everyone? My name is John Edwards. With me, as always, is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. And if you have been living under a rock or haven't listened to episode 1, we are here with the one and only Denver Kramer from Denver and Liley. We have Brodie Whitlock from the Empty Glass Resistance. And, of course, we have Brett, the Scotch Trooper, who is here with us as well.
What's up?
Zeke, how are you?
I mean, I'm good. If you're more than one of 3 people that survived the first one and made it this far, I wholeheartedly salute you. Send us a PM. We'll take care of you for surviving that first.
Will we?
I don't even know what to call it. It's not even a train wreck.
Please go find.
No, it was amazing.
Find at EZE Baker on Instagram. Send him a PM and tell him that you want something to survive the first one.
Hey, you have to keep up with the tally of plus and minuses for listeners. I need a number here.
That's the one he checked. Well, I won't give you the numbers. I give you the numbers all the time.
No, the plus and minuses during the episode, John.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, like the Nielsen ratings?
Yeah.
Remember we said we dropped 3, gained 4, lost 100 when you talked again?
I don't know.
We were negative at one point. Yeah. I know that much.
The Integer system definitely came into play.
Yeah.
What Zeke forgets is that I edit him to make him sound either really good or really bad. So when he talks shit, he forgets that when he talks like this, I put it together and make it sound coherent.
Those are very simple.
So he's biting the hand that feeds, essentially.
He is.
Yes. Okay.
He is. Anyways.
This is a good start. Back to Peter's tale.
We are still.
I am the man. Oh, I'm sorry.
Fight for
Jesus.
There's been sing-alongs tonight.
Still some spuds just tatering along right here.
There have been plenty of drams poured with this crew. There have been plenty of good conversation and good whiskey. And now we're at the point where it would not be a Dad's Drinking Bourbon show unless we actually drink some whiskey. So...
This is kind of why the first one.
No,
this is awesome.
On that note, we are going to actually what we did, and we were trying to figure out what the hell to drink with you guys, and what do you drink with the guys who have drank all sorts of different whiskeys, scotches, ryes. You guys have been everywhere. I mean, Denver's sitting here talking about, I went on my world tour, and then I got to go down to Mexico, and then I'm going to the Czech Republic and France, and wherever the hell I'm going, because
it's rough.
I fly first class and
fuck off.
But where we are now is we figured, let's give them a taste of Nashville, Tennessee. So what we did is we brought a whole bunch of picks that people in Nashville and stores in Nashville have been a part of. Some of these we have been a part of. So we brought our Whistle Pig pick that we did with the Whiskey House and Elixir. We brought 4 Roses from Woodland Wine that was really, really good. It's one that we had earlier this year. We brought a Bellmead from Elixir. We brought a Bellmead from Carother's. We brought all sorts of different things that we could all drink together. And we have been drinking them over the course of the night. One of the things that they really were interested in was this Haters Gonna Hate bottle of Russell Reserve, which was a Warehouse H that was picked by the Barrels and Brews crew at Carother's Wine and Spirits. And then Brett really liked the I'll Be Back OESV. I think he was drawn in by the sticker.
Oh, most definitely.
And that was an Elixir pick. It is from Warehouse PS. It's 58.8% ABV. So put that together and figure out that that's 117.6 proof. So what everybody's trying to figure out what's in their glass. So it's 4 Roses on the left, Russell's Reserve on the right. I poured these for all of you. Denver was a little bit harder because he will not drink out of anything that is not his own product. Is everybody set up to discuss these whiskeys now that I have done this long setup? For those of you that don't already know, Russell's Reserve is 110 proof. It's non-chill filtered. All that good stuff that you would normally expect with this Russell's. And it's great.
I'm good.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Brodie's good.
If Brodie's good, everybody's good.
Yeah, we're good.
Checking with Brodie. Yeah, Brodie's good.
Cool.
Denver, you good?
As long as Brodie's good.
Zeke, are you good?
Born ready.
I thought you were born to run.
Yeah, it sounds like a stride of Bruce Springsteen. Get into Bruce Springsteen.
I was going to say, only in a Bruce Springsteen context, not a physical type.
I am.
Let me in, I want to be your friend.
That's pretty good, actually.
John, you really need a karaoke bar.
Dude.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
One night a week, you need karaoke. We can talk to the wife about this because
mate,
there's a fervor building in you.
With, what's his name? With Andy. Whiskey karaoke.
Let's do it. So, let's go around the table. Let's have the Four Roses first. So, remember, do you all remember
Left.
which one?
Left.
Well, I tried to make it super easy. So, Four Roses is on the left. This is a wonderful sticker done by our friend Jody. It is Arnold Schwarzenegger, gap teeth and all, on the side of the bottle, holding a barrel of OESV. This is your typical, Four Roses, what you would expect with an OESV. I think a little bit better.
What's the rye percentage?
The rye percentage?
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Country of origin.
It's 20.
We killed him once.
20. It's on the bottle.
I think we killed Denver.
John, it's on the bottle.
I know it's on the bottom. I really love, we've made Denver get up a few times. So it's an E, so it's 75% corn, 20% rye, 5% malted barley. What you're going to expect with the V is going to be more of the delicate fruit rather than any spice or floral or herbal notes. So this is something that you would expect to have a little more fruit notes to it than some of the other recipes that are out there. I feel like Denver, like the more he drinks, he goes into ADD mode. Like, I don't know what the hell he's doing anymore.
Oh, he's getting another Denver and Lily glass.
Oh, okay.
Well, we need proper analysis here. Let's do this shit.
We can still hear your metal top spinning.
Really?
That's the intro.
Yeah.
And Denver, I washed that out already and was trying to pack up a little bit so that I could get the hell out of here when we're done.
He made the glass. He does whatever he wants.
Yeah, I agree, actually, with the lack of florals in it.
No, it's supposed to have florals in it.
There's definitely an alcoholic content.
No, it's actually supposed to have fruit. So you're right. Sorry, it was too easy just to go there. But yeah, not as much floral. It's going to be more fruit.
I get a lot of stone fruit and almost sweet tarts on the nose.
Melons.
Candy bars.
It's going downhill fast.
It's like sharp, actually, on the way down. It's like, I feel like that's kind of a medium length, and then there's this fucking like aftermath X-Men thing that they do after the credits in that.
The nose on this one, to me, it almost has like a malted candy aspect to it that you really wouldn't get. A lot of the Four Roses that we got lately were minty, but like...
This follows suit to me. This isn't that mint run. I just get heavy mint.
I'm not getting that.
Here, smell right out of the bottle. I get that out of your glass.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. You are drinking from a Denver and Lively gin glass, so you are cheating.
That might be it.
That's meant to enhance botanicals, but try this.
No, I mean, so many.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah.
It's just mint bomb. But I've gotten that out of so many recent Four Roses.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the same spirit in all your different glasses. No. Did I open a
I get in this, but
Pandora's box?
But I mean,
It's
honestly,
I can get that.
I've picked up the mint heavy in a lot of recent Four Roses, and the only reason I kind of
Crazy.
laugh about it
I'm getting like this wet earth in this thing.
is having recently picked an OESV
Yeah.
that there was no mint to it.
insane.
A completely different run. There are some, folks at Four Roses we hope to have on before too long. And literally, if you talk to most of those people, they'll tell you that the confusion can be people get worked up over warehouses. Well, a warehouse is just what had space when a run came off the line. Where your nuances are and where, the good, bad, or ugly, however you want to look at it, it's in that distillate's run in that day or week long worth of wash that came off. That's where you get the synergy. The warehouse is just simply the availability to store the barrels.
I politely disagree.
Well, I think the interesting thing with that is you talk to, and I don't want to regurgitate what we did on a previous episode, but you guys met with Bernie Lovers today.
Yeah.
So that was one of the people that you were up in Louisville meeting with at the Heaven Hill Experimental Distillery or the Evan Williams Experimental Distillery. What Bernie learned from Greg Davis is that the distiller's rule of thumb is that 10% of taste is going to come from yeast strain. 15% is going to come from distillation. So if it's a pot still or a column still, etc. 25% of that is going to come from the recipe. Mm-hmm. And then 50% of that is going to come from aging.
Yeah.
So if you think about what Four Roses did, and Bernie will always tell you this is a sliding scale. What Four Roses did was say, everything's one level. We're not doing, like a typical rick house where you have 6 levels or whatever. So they took the aging part of it. That's not 50%. Yeah. What makes Four Roses different is going to be that fermentation, the recipe, how they're actually, the yeast strain, things like that. So it's actually changes it a little bit, and you might get that, that's where I would agree that the warehouse placement doesn't really matter. Now, where it might matter is like warehouse ME might have the wind hit it differently or the sun hit it differently than warehouse TS, right? Like there are factors like that. But for the most part, they're all on one floor. They're all kind of in the same area. You're gonna get some variance as scientifically you have to, but it's not as much as you would like at Barton, right? Where you're gonna have it's a 33-acre place. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can go from the 7th floor to the ground in a day.
Yeah. That too soon? Way too soon.
Slow clap.
I just got that.
It's like wait for it.
I saw the look and I was like, it hasn't hit him yet. It's coming though.
It got me. It got me.
Now we're all emotional. But.
We are really, disclaimer, Zeke's an asshole. We're really just glad everybody was okay and nobody got hurt.
The fish did.
The fish did get hurt.
Yeah.
Whiskey got hurt too.
Yeah, whiskey too.
Yeah.
Moment silence, yeah.
I would say pour one out for the...
Please don't.
But no.
They've done it for...
Enough whiskey has been hurt.
I was just going to say pour one out, but the whiskey's too good to pour out. Yeah. So
anybody have any unique nuances beyond the nose?
Unlike you guys, I gave up my glass to Denver and to Zeke. So I am sniffing right out of the bottle. That's what we've come to.
Yeah, one thing I can say, I mean, I've never really, been into Four Roses picks and stuff like that, but I mean, this is a Four Roses that I can stand behind as far as that blend. It's a short finish on it, so it's not lingering too long, but like I said, the stone fruit kind of reminds me of more of a fortified wine, as Zeke likes to talk about.
Yeah, right.
What about you, Denver?
I'm going to circle back on the aging. So going back to the aging process, you mentioned those sort of percentages before, and yes, I agree. At Four Roses, that those percentages are not sort of in line with a multi-level sort of rickhouse, and they have single level there. But I would say that it's still, even in this case, it comes to about 30%. that it would have an effect with the wood and being closer to the roof or being closer to the ground, and also being on the left and right side of a particular house. Do they call it a rick house at Four Roses? I don't even know.
There's still ricks, and from what I understand, most are all either going to have the letter that correlates to the rick, and then either an east, west, and or north south facing. But to allude to the conversation we had earlier, I was talking to Dan Gardner. He said that some of these may say east west and or north south, but if you look at where the wind really flows, it's more of a crosswind that can be 45 degrees ish coming across it, or really more headstrong. Like this says these two for the 180 opposites, but if you look at the way that it flows, it may or may not hold true very much.
What do you think about this, Brett? It's not your tip. I mean, we are taking you out of your element, Donnie. So,
well played. So it's definitely out of my element, but also kind of combined into a day where I've had more bourbon than I have had in my last 6 or 7 months of drinking whiskey. So,
you did good, son.
we will convert you.
Yeah.
Bourbon Trooper spinoff.
True story. I actually have a Bourbon Fett account on hold. I was thinking on doing an offshoot, but never happened. I was like, I'm putting too much effort into this one account. I don't need another one.
And before this podcast comes out, I'm sure you will reserve Bourbon Trooper in case somebody decides to take it. And
Bourbon Trooper, they can take it.
You think
I
so?
have Bourbon Fett. I'm fine.
I know you prefer Scotch more, but I think you have to appreciate the nuances.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I mean, I had went to a couple of events down in Atlanta with Brent Elliott, and we I think it was Bourbon Bar had a couple of releases that we tasted through, and for a Scotch drinker to be able to gravitate towards a bourbon like that was just, I mean, it's amazing.
It's not a bad guy to have to do an event with.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And very much a straight shooter and just super knowledgeable and really it's humbling being around some of those people like him who just know their shit.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. Anything you get different on that than what we get?
Not really. Just really floral, really open.
So long story short, I would ask if you would buy it or not, or if you would get it at a bar. You can't buy it anymore because it's all sold out, so it's not even worth it. But I'd just say $55, you have the opportunity to buy it. Do you buy that bottle? I'm going to go back the other way. Brett, what about you?
No.
All right.
I have had some Four Roses single barrels that I've had in the past that I would gladly.
Yesterday's one.
What was yesterday's?
13.
Denver always tries to have. He does what Zeke does, where Zeke tries to have this conversation with me, and he's
and all it does is confuse you even more.
And I'm
like, fuck, what day is it?
I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna edit it. I could just edit it out, but now I'm not gonna edit it because it's funny. But what did you have yesterday?
We had the Woodland Wine barrel pick that we opened at the Whiskey Club.
Yes.
And you had the 13 yesterday.
That was pretty phenomenal, yes. That I would buy in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and coming from a Scotch background for me, again, that's what I would buy as well.
I think that this one is just a little bit more too floral than I'm used to from the Scotch standpoint.
That makes sense. Brodie, what about you?
I buy it.
Denver?
This particular one, probably not.
You Scotch guys. Thankfully, we're almost done with you. Zeke, what about you? I mean, we
I'll
both
just ask the group simply: because this was all I debated at the end of the day on my notes. I assume at least in Australia, you guys know what s'mores are, right?
Yeah, that like marshmallow thing that you put
Yeah.
into a cookie thing.
Yeah, graham cracker, chocolate,
Yeah.
heated marshmallow.
Yeah.
So would this be an Andes s'more or a York s'more?
What? I don't know what that is. Andes the mountains?
The little chocolate things.
And no, I'm
They don't
with
have
you.
Olive Gardens in
They're
Australia.
tri-layered. The top
No,
is the same
no, no.
little.
But wait, how are you making your s'mores if you're talking Andes and what was the other
Because I
one?
feel like there's a level of mint to chocolate ratio that's there.
I have no idea.
I go mint to chocolate. 'Cause honestly, a lot of Four Roses that have come out in the past
I would probably
8 to
go
12
more.
months, I get really mint out of it. It doesn't matter the mash.
I go Andes. But
Is there a
I'm not
reference that you
Scotch.
can give me that I would understand?
I'm kind of feeling more York.
Okay. Have you eaten an Andes peppermint thingy? The little
No.
chocolates.
I've never.
It's like the
eaten
size of a
Andes
Hershey's, but you have chocolate, mint in the middle, and chocolate. And surely you know what a York peppermint patty is, right?
before. No.
Fucking A.
We have like
He
we have
hasn't
mint
even heard of
stouts.
Rush. We're cool.
I'm gonna trade him a bag full of Andes and a bag full of Yorks for a glass, I think.
It's like, how
I think it's a fair trade.
He's just telling me like he's going to give me like some unknown currency for a glass. That's great. Thank
No,
you.
no, no.
That's,
That's well-known currency
I've
here.
got some Nigerian dollars that I'd like to like swap.
Do you want to be? I mean, I think what he's asking is, do you want to be big spoon or little spoon?
I don't know what that means. Like,
I mean, it's basically, do you like to be held or do you like to do the holding?
I'd like to do the whole thing.
Then you're a big spoon.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah, they are.
I love how I'm like seriously.
Yeah. You're like, we're getting into this. Yeah. This is happening now, guys.
All right, let's move on.
It's a great episode.
Let's move on to the Russell's Reserve. And this one, if you haven't seen it, the reason that we picked this one is that Denver really loved this label that Carother's Wine and Spirits put on of Haters Gonna Hate. It's actually something that was done from a Taylor Swift shirt. And there's a fun story behind this bottle. If you don't know what the story is, it's not necessarily something we're going to talk about on the podcast, but the bottom line is people are always going to say bad things about you. Haters going to hate. And this is a bottle that you can drink when they're doing that and just kind of say, you know what?
I need a bottle of that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Describe the label. We've got a rainbow cloud. We've got a unicorn with a rainbow horn.
Oh, no, a rainbow tail,
tail.
but it is a unicorn nonetheless. And this was done basically because it is a Warehouse H. So they named it. They did another one that was Warehouse B. They called Backstage Pass. Mm-hmm. This is Haters Gonna Hate. It's Warehouse H. It's 9 years, 6 months. It was barreled November 11th, 2008. Bottled June 25th, 2018. It was actually, they picked them both together. They just came out a little bit, a couple weeks apart. But really, really good. We put these side by side in a blind. One of them really tickles you on the front. No, I mean, it's really worth it. I don't know why that made Brodie laugh. There was nothing about that where I was trying to make Brodie laugh.
Bumble, young man, bumble.
I'll take ownership over most of that laugh.
But there's one that really kind of tingles in the front of your mouth and one that tingles in the back of your mouth.
Did you say tickles before though?
That tickles!
Alright, sorry. I'm back.
Right on. I'm not.
Alma wants Brodie to give his tasting notes first.
Oh,
Mr. Brodie!
oh my God! These are nightmares. These are nightmares.
I haven't even tasted it yet.
They're coming.
I'm going to choke in a second. I guess I'll go for the nose first. It's, for me, like a really, really sweet caramel. As far as the tasting goes, I need to get to that. 1 second.
Elmo had caramel one time.
Where is this going?
Please don't ask that.
I was just trying to make Brodie spit up while you.
Some people take birth control. Some people listen to John's voice.
Nobody has anything to say at this point. It's just kind of whoever has a tasting note or a nose note or what, if you have a nose taste finish, just jump in.
I guess on the tasting side, it's more of like a burnt sugar. I mean, I know that still kind of gives you caramel, but it kind of just follows through with like a burnt sugar taste.
Yeah.
Not too bitter. A long finish.
I mean, it's a very light sort of lilac sort of floral that's coming across the top. In the body, it's a kind of a sharper sort of caramels and that sort of gear. I need a taste, actually.
I definitely do get the floral on this, and this is a very floral forward, where we didn't get floral so much. We got the fruit on the Four Roses. I think these are actually two that are pretty interesting to put in a side-by-side.
Yeah.
Because one is very fruity and one is very floral. And that Russell's is really going to have those floral notes, and it almost hits the roof of your mouth when you're taking a sip of it. It's one of those, all of those floral notes to me just kind of gather in your mouth. The finish does not go down your throat. It very much stays in your mouth. And it hits, it's not one that you're going to chew on for a very long time, but there is a remnants of it that will stay at the roof of your mouth for a good bit.
What do you get? Like, I get a sort of like a oaky bitterness towards the end.
Yeah.
And then it just, that last little bit, that last little sort of 4% just hangs around for a while. But otherwise, I would rate this as a sort of a medium length. And then there's this like weird sort of bitter aftertaste, which I'm not particularly enjoying. I don't think that last little lingering bitterness.
It just sits on the back of your tongue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it sits on the back of my tongue as well.
I've got pretty similar notes, at least palate-wise. Nose, I thought it was somewhere between taking Cairo corn syrup and somehow dropping a sugar cube in there, like it just integrates to it. Somehow the corn notes are there. I mean, it's young, but the corn's there, and then that sweet caramelization's behind it. So that's where I put the sugar cube with it.
Yeah.
But palate-wise, it definitely seemed to have more than noticeable char and a thinness. And like you said, that thinness and the char does lead to a finish, but I don't think it's necessarily in the realm of the complexity grabbing a hold of you. It's more to the fact that it's a thin char and or bitter, similar to certain beers that lead to a satiability and a drinkability. Or maybe not drinkability, I don't think, but essentially you want more of it, and that's just the body's reflex.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this one,
somebody say my name.
Yeah.
John checking back in here. How y'all doing?
me. We are the knights who say me.
4 people having an in-depth conversation. John, yep.
Oh, I mean, when Zeke talks, I'm just kind of here. You know? Which one did you prefer? I think that instead of saying would you buy it or would you not buy it,
how much is the Russell's Reserve?
about the same price, $60.
I would go with Russell's.
I'm going to go with Brett.
I would say Russell's too.
Zeke?
Simply because mint just bites me so much, I'll go with Russell's as well.
I love the haters gonna hate bottle. I just love Four Roses.
I'm a massive fan of Four Roses, but in this case, I'm just going to have to...
You just love the cues.
The cues. I do love the cues, actually.
No, I'm telling you, there's a
If
link.
anyone doesn't know what the cue is, like, do you want to explain what the cue is?
No, everybody knows what the cue is
Okay.
that's listening to this show.
There's a length of run, though, that's been heavy mint. I don't know why. I think it's it's coming. It's somewhat gone by now, but
Yeah.
there for a while, at least like 6 or 8 months worth of picks, no matter the mash.
Yeah.
It seemed to the mint resonated well more than it had in previous, I guess, runs, years, etc. But
Yeah.
it's the nuances. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, I guess so. Things change, like even OBSV, I really like that run. But yeah, I'm yet to have an OBSQ that has been bad. But Zeke begs to differ. There are some
They're always out there.
Yeah, we've got to find the bad ones. Yeah.
Well, we are going to search. Hopefully, we will search with Denver and with Brett again. We know that Brodie will be back to search with us some more.
Yes.
Follow Denver on Instagram at Denver and Liley. See wherever he is in the world. Follow his escapades with his different glasses, whether it's a bourbon or a gin or a whiskey glass. Follow Brodie on Instagram at wit.brodie. Follow his podcast at The Empty Glass Resistance. Just tune in. There's lots of good things coming from Brodie and his crew. Follow Brett on Instagram at Scotch_Trooper. There's also other things that he is doing. It's
So drinks.with.friends is a lot of the other side of my photography as well. So,
and that's the one where you're doing more tastings as well.
doing tastings, doing a lot more events and whatnot. So yeah,
And I like what you did there because your last name sounds like Friends.
drinks
I
with
mean,
friends.
like-
yeah.
I was being facetious.
I'm just glad you came back full circle there, Big Cat.
I was being facetious
For the
there.
past 10 minutes. Yep.
Anyway,
Comes in with a 3-pointer.
Yep.
Oh, I like the other one that they.
no. Yes, and it counts. That was like Sean Connery instead of yes.
Yosh. She's very sexy.
I just see John like every morning. Mirror on the wall. What sexy voice should I use?
I love it.
Why are you late for work again? Well, you know.
Well,
Me and the mirror got caught up.
at this point of the night, I'm just gonna say, yeah, it is 1:30 in the morning, and the ladies' man is here to answer all your romantic queries. On that note, it's time to leave. So follow us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Follow us on Twitter at Bourbon Dad. Follow us on Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. And then
Do it in the butt.
follow our podcast on Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify.
Oh my god.
What is love? I got my Cavatier cognac. It is 3:00 in the a.m.
Yeah, John, you start whispering that when you get home tonight. You're not even going to sleep on the sofa. You're going to the back deck.
Yeah, I know.
Whole new level of deck pour photos coming up soon, people. 4 a.m.
Cigar and a bottle of whiskey busted over my head.
Cigar burned.
But make sure you follow our podcast on Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Podknife, Spotify. Please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us more than you know. Also, write a review. Tell us why you like us. We love that. Please join our new Facebook group. It's the way that Zeke and I are going to be contacting each other more while Zeke is a new dad for the second time here in a few weeks. We don't know when that's going to be, but expect us to have some live content.
From the
Tastings.
birth? What do you mean live content?
No.
Please no.
You told me I'm supposed to be there with a GoPro getting out.
All anyone needs to know is pray for 9/12, the same date as the 1st. That's one less thing for me to ever have to worry about forgetting.
Brett, Denver, Brodie, anything you guys want to say before we leave?
I am the man who will fight for your honor. Brett,
we just lost 10 people.
Yeah, we
Take it easy, guys.